Nancy toys. Nancy and her toys. And go! Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about aniridia, which is a word that you may very well not have heard of before, but happens to be the eye condition that I have. Aniridia literally means no irises. So the part of your eye which controls how much light comes in and out of your eye, and the coloured circle around your pupil. For those of you who are technical, you can think of it like the shutter on a camera, allowing enough light in so that you can see the image clearly, but not too much light so it's like a bad photo filter gone wrong. Aniridia operates on a very wide spectrum and affects people in many different ways. So for example, there will be people who have aniridia who can still see to drive and whose vision isn't that badly impaired, right down to people who can hardly see anything or are completely blind. This can occur as a congenital condition or can be the result of a penetrative injury to the eye at some point in your life. While aniridia as a word means no iris, there is a small ring of iris tissue present. So some people with aniridia will have a small piece of colour around their pupil. Others won't have anything at all. If you want to know all the technical statistics and facts surrounding aniridia, there's lots of websites you can look at, including RNIB, Fight for Sight, and of course the Aniridia Network, all of which I'll link in the description below. And if you want me to go into more detail on a practical level about how this affects my life and exactly what I can see, I'd be happy to do that in a future video. However, today I want to focus on my major mental and emotional factor, because that's what I think you'll be able to relate to whoever you are. If you had to have one guess, what do you think the major emotional factor of this might be? Of course, it's that whole thing that we all share. Oh my god, I'm gonna be judged for something I can do nothing about. Being judged is something that's often talked about when it comes to disability, or minority groups, or people feeling different. But actually, of course, it's not just a factor in any of those scenarios. Being judged is something as human beings that we all relate to, we all understand, and we all struggle with at some point or another in our lives. Everybody has something which they feel sets them apart, something which they're insecure about, something which they don't like about themselves as much as other people, something which they might always compare themselves to others by and never meet the mark. This leads to all kinds of self-worth issues, self-esteem problems, and just not feeling good enough in general. The more we worry about this, and the more time we allow it to take up, the less able we are to go out there and get on with our lives, to achieve the things we really want to achieve, to reach our goals, because we're so worried about other people thinking that we're just not up to the job. Inevitably, if this is a reoccurring thought process in our minds, it can lead to all kinds of social phobias, social anxiety, and our fear of being around other people, which can affect us physically, mentally, and emotionally, and can take a great toll on everybody else in our life as well. Not only is social anxiety as a recognised ongoing mental condition ever on the rise these days, but also public speaking is often cited as the #1 public generalised fear. It is said that 75% of people fear public speaking. But I don't think it's the public speaking that they fear. It's actually the fear of being judged, of making a fool of yourself, not just in front of a few people, but in front of a huge audience. That's what really daunts people. And I'm talking public speaking as a fear here over dying or being lonely. So we'd rather have a miserable lives living alone and dying young than get up on a stage and public speak. Because it's scary and we might be judged for it. We're terrified of that as a human race. People often don't start YouTube because it's a whole new invitation to being judged. It's easier to hide behind a computer screen and judge somebody and confirm all of their worst fears than if they were a physical person standing in front of you. While the internet has so many benefits in bringing people together, unfortunately it also has something to answer for in the discussion about social anxiety and the fear of being judged. It can be terrifying to be judged for the person that you are, because we can't really do a whole lot about that, and so you get stuck in this cycle of hating yourself but not being able to do anything about it. It's just this destructive thing that goes round and round in your head, and when others confirm that, you think, well, it must be true then. While my thing is an eye condition, it isn't the physical factors of that which bother me. It's the being judged for it which bothers me. If you think about it, it makes total sense. If public speaking and our fear of being judged is among our top fears of all time as a human race, that's above disability, getting ill, getting any kind of physical injury. It's the psychological feeling that is much more important to us, that we prioritise and that we fear more than any of those things possibly all put together. The worry for me isn't that I can't see very well, it's the thought of being set apart for that thing I can't do anything about. I can't stress enough how this is universal, something we all have in common, and something which, if we developed a new insecurity or a new part of ourselves we perceive to be different tomorrow, our first fear wouldn't be, how do I deal with this? Our first fear would be, how do I get through this in terms of other people? How will I be judged for this? How will it reflect on my relationships with others and how I navigate my way through my social and emotional world? That's the core of our feelings. That's when we get to the nitty-gritty of it. When we have conversations with people where they tell us how they psychologically feel about their situations, that's when we bond. That's when we can express ourselves and share in those moments, because we've all been there to one extent or another. Knowledge is power. The more we understand about different people, the less they'll feel different to us at all. We need to broaden our horizons. We need to see past people's external differences and see inside to everything they share with us. Those vulnerabilities, those emotional fears, those deep-seated feelings that all come part and parcel of all of our life experiences. As a society, we need to reach out to those who are different from us, to learn about their differences and to see that actually they're probably not so different at all. I know it sounds like a terrible cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason. At our core, as humans, there ain't all that much different about us when it comes down to it. We're all just living in different skins, with different circumstances, getting our way through life, and all feeling very much the same. This is where you come in. I want to hear your stories. What is it you feel that sets you apart? It doesn't have to be a huge thing, it could be a tiny thing, but it could be that little thing that always niggles in the back of your brain. This is a place for sharing. It's a place for expanding our knowledge of one another and getting to know each other much better. To anyone who'd like to get involved, please get in touch and leave me a comment below. Let me know your thoughts on this discussion and your story, and I just want to find out a little bit more about you in general. And if you'd like to find out a little bit more about me and Aniridia as an eye condition, it just so happens that this Thursday, the 21st of June, it is Aniridia Day. You can find out more about that at aniridiaday.org. There's so many different stories from parents, patients, doctors, psychologists, once again just sharing their own experiences of something which could otherwise completely set us apart. I encourage you to challenge yourselves to connect with somebody different, to find out something that you might never have known about before, and to just research and be curious and be open-minded, to look into things that maybe have never come into your radar before and to learn more about them. It's something we all need to do more of, and the benefits to us on an emotional level especially can be amazing. As always, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to this video. Thanks for watching and enjoy your day as though it were your favourite pizza with all the best toppings. Take care, and Nancy and I will speak to you again soon. Bye! And go. No, Nancy, not you. Oh. No, Nancy. Sit down. Sit. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about Aniridia. I don't really though, do I? There are people who have this eye condition that can drive, that can see a lot, or can be the result of a penetrative injury. Oh my god, I'm gonna be judged for this. Speak to you soon. Bye. Oh god, Nance has got involved.